Alrighty. What's going on, everybody? First off, before we start this TNA Impact review for 10/1/14, the first of the month of October, let me show you my overlay. Because I tried to do an overlay, and the failure was real with Google Plus tonight. So let me show you what happened first. Well, this is technically second. Try to do an overlay, and this is what comes up. Okay, GG. This is what comes up. Really? Really? Come on, Google Plus. Really? I mean, that's all I can do is just breathe really hard right now. Really? Now let me show you the second one. I was like, okay, maybe the picture is just stupid. So I'm gonna get me another one, a little bit smaller. Let's see what happens. Really? Really? I'm trying to make this show about Havok, but it'd be nice to see her face, right? Oh, it's ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. Thing over here. So it worked there, but it doesn't work anywhere else. So that means Bound for Glory is right around the corner, if you think about it, because Glory's on the 12th. I think it's gonna a lot of. I think next week's show is gonna be a lot of building to Bound for Glory. Not only that, because it's the go home show, and there's gonna be a lot of feuds revealed next week. Not necessarily feuds, but kind of like feuds that were already kind of being built throughout this that are gonna be kind of continued to Bound for Glory. So basically, this show, I like this show better than last week's. Um, Even the Havok match was pretty good, and even though it was, you know, even the Havok and Gail Kim match was pretty good. And I'll explain about why it maybe shouldn't have been, or why maybe some people think it shouldn't have been. Um, I'll explain that when I get to the match. So we started out with a video package reviewing, the Bobby Roode Lashley match again. There's a reason they keep showing this, obviously, right? They're obviously, as far as fantasy booking goes, if I was going to book this, I would be like, Roode, Lashley, Bound for Glory, let's go. Yeah, well, that would be practically my plan there. But, you know, Roode versus Lashley, you know, from the beginning, it seems like that's what they wanted to do. And I think there's a lot of fans saying that's what they should do. And they should allow Bobby Roode to win the title because, I mean, Lashley's had a good run. But, the biggest pay-per-view of the year and one of your own guys, a guy who's built his brand, a guy who, the TNA fans especially love, even some people outside of TNA love, just former superstars and stuff like that. It makes sense for them to do this, right? Well, it was kind of weird. It was kind of iffy last week because we had the whole Gold Rush thing, and it's kind of weird to see, where's this gonna go? Where's the Gold Rush thing gonna go? Because why would you choose any other title but the world title? You know what I mean? And Aries won it again, so it's kind of weird seeing him come out and hashtag Aries decision. It was weird because we felt like we just saw it not too long ago with the whole Destination X thing. We just saw it when these New York tapings started, so it was like it felt a little weird to me to see that again because I'm like, we just saw this. He's gonna do the same thing. It's I mean, I wasn't like, because I mean, him and Bobby Lashley put on a good match last time, so I didn't think it was going to be bad per se, or I didn't think it was even going to be a bad move. I just felt like we saw this, and this was obviously not post show, pre-show, obviously when Austin Aries was coming out to decide what he was going to do. But basically, the video package just let us know, hey, Rude's gonna tell us about his future. He's gonna let us know how he feels about losing to Lashley. So the first segment of the show is Austin Aries. He comes out, Austin Aries' decision, like I was just saying. And basically, he's trying to let us know what he's gonna do with his title opportunity, right? He's got a title shot at any title in TNA. He kind of plays around with the fans a little bit. You want me to fight Gail Kim tonight? You want me to fight Joe, or you want me to fight Lashley? I didn't think he even got to Lashley because as soon as he said Samoa Joe, Joe comes out and Joe's like, you know, um, I don't know exactly what Joe said, but Joe was basically like, you know, basically you're challenging me because you called my name. You don't call my name and not challenge me, so you're basically challenging me. And Austin Aries accepts the challenge. Honestly, I felt like it brought a little prestige back to the X Division, as well, because for you to have a shot at any title, that's kind of like if someone in WWE, like, I don't know, let's say, okay, so Seth Rollins and WWE has the Money in the Bank contract, right? And I wouldn't even say Seth Rollins. I'd say somebody like, I'm trying to think of an established type of guy. Um, let's just say Randy Orton, okay? So, because if I say John Cena, you'll probably cut the video off. So I'm not gonna say John Cena, except for those two times. But you got Randy Orton. He wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, and you're like, obviously he's gonna, because I'm pretty sure the Money in the Bank briefcase is technically for you to challenge for any title you want to, technically. But obviously, if you got a chance at the biggest title in the company, you're gonna get more money winning the biggest title in the company. Duh. Let me pick the WWE World Heavyweight title, obviously, right? But I mean, if Randy Orton came through and he had the Money in the Bank contract and he decided to go for the Intercontinental Championship, how much more prestige would that bring? You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it would bring a little bit more prestige if he went for the Intercontinental Championship instead of, he passes up the chance at the biggest championship in the company to go after the quote unquote mid card championship. And I know it feels like the mid card championships today don't have as much prestige as they used to have maybe when they first debuted. Yeah, when they first debuted, basically. I don't know how you guys felt about just Pennsylvania tonight because they were back in Pennsylvania tonight. This building felt like it was like hollow, like it felt like completely empty, and it was really weird. Um, it honestly felt like it didn't feel like it was completely empty, but it did feel kind of empty, and that was just weird to me. It was just weird to, like, the building felt like it was like nothing, no, like it were people in it, but um when they actually did it, excuse me, when they actually, it just kind of felt empty. Like when the fans chanted, it felt like the fans were way louder than anyone that was talking on the mic. I don't know if you guys felt that way, and it was probably like the sound in the building, basically. It felt kind of it felt kind of hollow in there, personally, to me. That's how I personally felt. If you feel the same way, leave a comment. Let me know how you felt about just the sound of the building. It just felt like it felt, obviously it felt different from the New York building, and also the setup of the ramp and stuff was similar to the New York style because the first time they went to Pennsylvania, they had like a whole Titantron and everything, right? And then they done away with that for the New York tapings. So are they doing away with that for good, or are they just gonna have that, like for pay-per-views to make the pay-per-views feel even bigger? Because anytime you add just that small little section of change, that small little section that's different, it kind of makes it a little bit bigger. It's like the same thing, like I was saying, like for the Impact style, the Impact themed pay-per-views, why not just change the aprons just to make us feel like it's an actual pay-per-view? You know what I mean? I mean, you can put on a great product in the ring all you want to, but as long as you know what I mean. You can put on a good product in the ring all you want to, but we can say, okay, this is just a really good episode of Impact. But if you change the aprons, we're like, oh, okay, something different about this show. Um, we, basically this match, I feel like this match kind of even started slow, and I don't know. I'm probably gonna actually even go watch it again later on in the week, or maybe probably next week. I'm probably gonna go watch it again because it felt like it started slow. I didn't take a ton of notes for this match. Um, there was a weak brainbuster by Austin Aries, and basically it was said because of his knee. Obviously Joe's a huge dude, so trying to and he obviously didn't do it on the first attempt either. So that obviously weighs down on the knee if you think about it logically. And the two main spots was I got that weak brainbuster, but he did actually hit a brainbuster, and then I got the um Aries is going for the last chancery submission hold, and Joe actually turns that into the Coquina clutch choke. So that was pretty cool. My question is, could they push this to Bound for Glory? I obviously feel they could, because it would be kind of like a feud, because I don't think we haven't really seen a lot of building towards Bound for Glory. Like, we've been told that Bound for Glory is the biggest pay per view of the year for TNA, but they haven't built it, right? You know what I mean? Like, if you think about the biggest pay per view for someone, so WrestleMania is the biggest pay per view for WWE, and I'm not trying to make comparisons by any means. I'm just saying, if WrestleMania is your biggest pay per view, they built that Daniel Bryan Triple H thing to the max. They built the Bray Wyatt John Cena thing to the max. They didn't wait to what feels like a week before to build it. But if you think about it, they kind of have been building it, but they've had matches in between the people who are in the feud. So, like, for the we don't know what they're gonna do with the X division. That's one thing we don't know. It feels like they're going Rude versus Lashley with the from this point in the show. It feels like we're going Rude versus Lashley with the world title feud. So it doesn't feel like they're building it though, right? It feels like they're keeping us in the dark a little bit. It feels like it's not built like, well, Rude on one side is the accomplished TNA superstar, and while Lashley is the multi-sport, dominant destroyer. You know what I mean? We're not really getting a real push on it. We're kind of just it's just weird they're not really pushing stuff like it seems like they would. And I'm gonna talk about another thing that they should be pushing as well. When we get to it, it's a little bit later. Actually, you know what? I'll just talk about it now. Um, I don't understand why they're not pushing the Sonata Great Muta thing either. And you know what? I mean, I'll mention it now, and then you can kind of think on it, and then I'll come back to it. And you guys can, if you got any thoughts about it, leave your thoughts. Um, when TNA comes back from commercials, it's nice to see that the fans are genuinely excited about the product. It feels like it feels like they're actually enjoying it. They don't feel like they just came from the park and they tired and they trying to go take a nap real quick. No, and so they just go to the arena real quick and they're going to take a nap while they're watching TNA. If once you start paying for it, it kind of gets you kind of either make yourself enjoy it, or you actually do enjoy it. And it seems like they're actually enjoying it, because you don't. It's not really genuine. You can't really see, it can't really even seem like it's genuine, if you're faking it. um so basically the next segment here was a backstage segment between Angle and the Wolves, basically setting up that this final match for the tag title feud is going to be the tag title series. It's going to be history making. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be crazy, never before seen. Then again, but anyway, I think we knew where it was going during the last match. Like I said, it was great foreshadowing, I felt like. So it makes a lot of sense. And we'll get to it when we get to that part in the show. So next we had an EC3 promo. Basically, I was thinking about Spud in this promo because they're growing some dissension between Spud and EC3 because basically what EC3 is gonna do is basically become a loner. I feel like he's gonna become um obviously he's blaming everyone ever for putting, Dixie Carter through a table. He's probably blaming me right now for even mentioning it that I probably put the table as well. So, EC3 is basically gonna become he's gonna be alone after a while. Because Spud's obviously gonna kind of turn when you know how that type of storyline is. The little guy, stands up to the bully. It's similar to that. Um, my question is, so Spud breaks away from EC3. Will he please go to the X Division? Because I don't know if you guys remember, but I kind of remember Spud in the British Boot Camp thing. Kinda, not a ton. I don't even remember it very vividly. The only way I remember it if I went back to watch it. You know what I mean? And from what I've heard, Spud does good work in the ring, but we haven't seen him in the ring, so we don't really know, right? So I was thinking, are they gonna do a Spud EC3 feud here? Well, EC3 smacks Spud basically. He's blaming Spud for this card going through a table, and there's obviously dissension there. He smacks Spud, and EC3 comes out, and EC3, he wants him to listen to the fans and, go ahead and hit EC3. Well, EC3, basically EY says, well, but if you're not gonna hit him, then and then EC3 attacks EY before EY can attack EC3. There's so many E's in this just little bit here, but EC3 attacks EY, and basically this starts the match earlier, which makes great logical sense if you think about it. The good thing about TNA to me is logical sense, right? It doesn't make any sense, even though they did what seems like the complete opposite of this later on. But little by little, okay, poke. But like here, the match gets started early because they're already. You know what I mean? It makes so much sense. It doesn't make any sense to break them up and make them wait. Let the combustible elements go ahead and go at it now. It makes a ton of sense. Um, if people can bash TNA all they want to, and they can say, TNA sucks. TNA's just, a poor man's WCW. TNA's just a poor man's ECW. Whatever they want to say, right? But TNA wrestlers get a reaction, and it doesn't matter. Like, MVP gets booed out of the building, Dixie Carter gets booed out of the building. Dixie Carter is probably genuinely hated by the fans, you know what I mean? And it's just crazy, man. Like, if you watch like EY, Bobby Roode, especially those who have the fans respect, when they clap, the fans clap with them. You don't see that a lot in WWE. You really don't. You know what I mean? Like, if someone starts clapping in WWE, or someone, they're in a tag match, they're beating on the turnbuckle or whatever. You don't hear the fans just keep it going. Like in TNA, the fans just keep going with it. It just until another one starts. You know what I mean? But basically here, this is I don't know what they're building to here. It seems like they're kind of building EC3 versus EY for Bound for Glory, because it really wouldn't make sense for EC3, a young guy that's on the rise, to, it wouldn't make any sense for EC3 to, not have a feud going into the biggest pay-per-view of the year. EC3 is probably one of the fastest rising stars in TNA right now, so it would make a lot of sense for him to, get a match at Bound for Glory, right? It's the biggest pay-per-view of the year. He's probably one of the biggest stars of TNA right now. I personally love EC3, what he does in the ring, and his promos and you know his attention to character as well. So basically, what happens here near the end of this match is EC3. Um, EC3, he's going after EY, and Spud gets up on the eight. Well, Spud kind of helps EC3 here. He really does. He helps EC3, and he when he's helping EC3, the referee turns his back. He put EC3's foot on the rope. He got on the apron. The ref turns his back. EC3 low blows EY and hits him with the 1%er, and that's the win. I hope EC3 brings back the not, for one, I hope he brings back the neck breaker he does off the ropes, because people say, I don't know if people have like seen his footage from NXT, but it seems like the TNA wrestlers really set him up to do that. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he plans on bringing it back or not, but I hope he does. Right? I really like that move from him. And also, obviously, the king of the leg lock. So he obviously has to bring back the leg lock, right? You know what I mean? He put Kurt Angle out with it, man. You got to bring back the leg lock. What are you doing, EC3? You're a freaking hardcore American icon, dude. Come on now. Which, it's kind of weird. They dropped that a little bit recently. He's becoming his own man now as well. So, but they've really dropped that recently. You know what I mean? Since Sting's back in WWE and hardcore American. I can't remember. Sting, obviously Sting's back in WWE. I thought he had beat someone else who had went back to WWE or had went back. I can't remember. I don't. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But anyway, they're kind of dropping that. They're kind of making him his own man somewhat. You know what I mean? They're building on that. He's kind of out of control type of thing. Next, we got Mr. Anderson and Chris Melendez. Basically they're saying, we're going to stand up to these guys. These guys are being disrespectful to a freaking American hero. So we're going to freaking, stand up for my boy Chris Melendez here. We're going to stand up to these guys. So after that, they're walking to find money, power, respect. We got a video package with Havok and Gail Kim just reviewing that rivalry, basically. Gail Kim's that basically sets up, Gail Kim versus Havok, obviously, for the Knockouts title. Well, I was wondering why Gail Kim was coming out first, because I'm like, she's the champ. Why is she coming out first? It makes no sense. Oh, Havok attacks her from behind. Havok basically works the arm like crazy during this pre-match type of thing here, and she does not a bear hug, but it was a hammerlock slam. Basically, where she had her in what you would think of as a bear hug, she had the arm trapped, and then she slammed her on the ground, and obviously it works the arm. Well, that we learned later that would separate Gail Kim's shoulder. So basically, this right here, this pre-match beatdown by Havok cancels the match for now. ... Obviously, you would think Gail Kim would be, fighting spirit and everything. You would think, they're going to check up on her. They're going to see how she's doing, make sure she's doing okay. See if she can compete tonight, and probably encourage her not to compete tonight. It's usually what happens here. So next we had a video package, basically reviewing a tag team series, similar to what we had last week. A lot of times these video packages usually tell you what's going to happen next. So we had the Wolves come out to announce a stipulation. This is what I'm thinking. I would love to see this at Bound for Glory. But I don't know. I'm gonna reveal a little bit of something that we were told later. This match is next week, and I'm gonna tell you why. So from what I've been hearing, from the news I've been getting, I can't remember which one it is, but one of the Wolves is hurt, like to the point where he can't wrestle, like he can't like tough it out and try to wrestle at Bound for Glory. So I think what happened was, obviously they went out to Japan and taped Bound for Glory, right? And I don't know when he got hurt. I'm not sure exactly. I've tried my best to stay away from news and everything. The reason being is I don't want to spoil myself. You know what I mean? I am tired of spoiling things that are going to happen in the future by accident, right? I don't even want to even go on Wikipedia and search anything about a TNA wrestler, because it's probably going to tell me something I don't want to know. Like I searched probably about month or two ago, I searched Samoa Joe, and it told me that he was the X Division champion. And I'm like, I mean, this was even before he was even in the picture. And I'm like, It obviously always says that. That's not really true. And obviously we figure out he does become the the X Division champion. So I'm like, are you freaking serious? Are you freaking serious? So I try to stay away from Wikipedia and searching TNA stars, TNA, TNA wrestlers as much as possible, because if you do, you will get spoiled most likely, especially if they're either in the title picture or they are the champion currently as we know it. You know what I mean? So basically, what happens here is, we got the Wolves. They're gonna announce a stipulation. It's gonna be a 3D interrupts, and 3D says, you know what? We're the greatest tag team of all time. You have no right to pick, the stipulation. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember exactly what he said, but you know what I mean. It was to that gist, like, we're the greatest tag team. Y'all don't deserve to pick the stipulation. We want to pick the stipulation. So next, the Hardys come out, and I think, did they add something new to the Hardys theme? I don't remember hearing the creatures thing. It was like creatures, it was just a little bit at the beginning, and I thought that was cool. And I hated the Hardys theme when I first heard it, but I freaking love it now. I don't know why it grew on me. I mean, obviously, after you hear it enough, it probably grows on you anyway. But it grew on me though. It grew on me quick too. It grew on me like the second week. I was like, oh yeah, this song is. That's not even a beat, but oh, you know what I mean. I was bobbing my head and everything. I was humming it. I was singing it. I, it was ridiculous. But basically, the Hardys come out and they say, you might think you're the greatest tag team, but obviously we are, and basically the Wolves say, you know what, we're gonna do this match. You want to know why? Because our time is now. And basically, it seemed like they were going to set up the match for the night. Obviously, we knew that wasn't true. But basically, a brawl breaks out, right? Brawl breaks out for a while, obviously because the Wolves' time is now, and that's what happens. So there's a brawl for a little bit, and then Kurt Angle comes out and he says, the decision will be made right now after the brawl settles down. Well, the funny part is, obviously, Team 3D got their signature weapon, the table. Obviously, why can't I remember teams right now? Team 3D had the tables, Hardys had the ladders, and then the Wolves had the chairs. So that obviously told us TLC, TLC, as we were hearing from the TNA fans tonight. TLC, TLC. Didn't we hear that last? When they had their last match, we heard that, and it was great foreshadowing. I felt like. So obviously we're gonna have a TLC match, or what it's called in TNA, which is a Full Metal Mayhem match. I actually had to look that up because I was like, is there something different about a Full Metal Mayhem match compared to a TLC match? But it's exactly the same. Obviously, that TLC may be copyrighted by WWE for the personal reasons, obviously. So Full Metal Mayhem, TLC, same thing. So that'll be set for actually next week, which is a little bit of a bummer because it's not at Bound for Glory. From what I heard, though, basically what happened was they did Bound for Glory. Well, I was thinking maybe they would tape Bound for Glory, and then they would tape this match in like the Bound for Glory setting if he could, if Davey Richards could do it, and then or Eddie Edwards, I can't remember which one exactly, but and then they would put it in. I wasn't sure if they were going to do that or not because obviously with it being tape, you can edit it however, and as long as it's a smooth transition, I think it would have been fine. But it may not have been as smooth as it should have been. You know what I mean? So basically, what's going to happen is they're going to have it next week. It's going to be interesting to see if maybe he was hurt before this and it kind of gets pushed back. I'm not sure. It may actually be next week, and it may have actually gotten taped, but after Bound for Glory, and then they pushed it in to the Impact this coming up week. So next we had a backstage segment, between Mr. Anderson, Chris Anderson, oh, Lord help me, Mr. Anderson, Chris Melendez, MVP, and Kenny King, where basically, they're creating a match. I don't know if you guys were expecting this. Well, there were two things I was expecting here. For one, I was expecting this to turn into a backstage brawl, and for two, I was expecting this to be a tag team match. But actually, it ended up being first Kenny King versus Mr. Anderson. Then it ended up being MVP versus Mr. Anderson. So, you know, just another match on the card, basically. I kind of like the impromptu matches. It's kind of surprising. I stay away from practically everything uh, for TNA because what'll happen is, I kind of like to be surprised, especially when I watch wrestling, right? So with TNA, sorry, I had to switch the mic over a little bit, but with TNA, I like to be surprised, So with them being taped, it's kind of hard to be surprised sometimes. And so I try my best to stay away from like technology like all the time because if you don't, you're pretty much screwed. Because I mean, with TNA, that's the one thing about them being taped that I hate is, it's not necessarily even their fault per se, but it's probably the fault of people who are trying to get publicity by leaking what TNA does. You know what I mean? And my computer's about to go dead, and I hope it doesn't. 10%. I don't know what my battery is. That's okay. We're gonna get through the last little bit of this. If I miss anything, I promise you I'll fill it in another video. I just don't have my charger right now, and probably by the time I get up and get it, it'll probably be dead. So let's get through this, and if I go through something quick and you want me to go through it again, I may actually go through some stuff again anyway. So after that, we learned that Gail Kim is going to wrestle tonight. Basically, this told us, she's got fighting champion. She's going to fight tonight. We obviously knew this. She's wrapping the shoulder up basically to fight tonight. So we got Manic versus Shark Boy. Hell yeah. Oh, it's the greatest thing I'd ever heard in a while. Because, obviously Shark Boy had the, Stone Cold type of gimmick when he left. And it was just interesting to see Shark Boy back. I think I'd heard about this, but I didn't. I'd forgot about it by now. So that was interesting. We got to see the new Manic, quote unquote. I need to see Manic's old wrestling style and Manic's new wrestling style. I know it was a little bit different, but I didn't notice any drastic differences. I know he didn't do the little rope thing he usually does as Manic, but I need to see that. You know what I mean? I need to go ahead and see that, and it's just it wasn't drastically different, but I'd have to watch an old Manic match to see how much more different he was, and obviously he didn't have a lot of time, so you didn't see a lot of different things. After this match, Manic won by a frog splash. Do you think that James Storm took Shark Boy? Because Shark Boy has had the same gimmick for years now. He was Shark Boy, regular Shark Boy, all that, and then he became Stone Cold Steve Shark Boy or whatever. You know what I mean? So basically, that's what happened. So I don't know if they I don't know if they took him or not. Give me a shell, yeah. Shark Boy's the man. Next, we had MVP versus Mr. Anderson. I'm not going to talk about this one really at all. Basically, MVP wins by roll up, practically. I don't know what they're doing with these matches. Basically, drawing out the Gunner and Melendez pairing, I guess. I was thinking, there's going to be no champ tonight. No Bobby Lashley for 2 weeks straight. That's crazy. Next, we got Rude speaking out about his future. So basically, I feel like superstars who get respect in this company deserve respect. You know what I mean? Who deserve respect get respect. Excuse me. Rude basically invites Lashley to the ring, talking about how the world championship is, it's what he lives for. It's what he wants in this company. Basically he won. He did the one more match thing, and I was like, Christian never got it, so what do you think you're gonna get it for? But seriously though, he, basically there was one person in the crowd saying no. He was like, one more match, one more match. The crowd was chanting one more match, one more match, one more match. No, it was like one fan in the crowd. I'm sure you guys noticed that if you watched. Basically, it felt like there was a little dissension between MVP and Lashley. Not big dissension, just like indecisive dissension. So you had Lashley, Rude was like, what do you say, champ? And Lashley's about to say yes, obviously. And MVP says no, know what I mean? Basically no. And they kind of just walk away, leaving us thinking this is going to happen. You know what I mean? Basically, I think that's what I was thinking. That's probably what we were all thinking. Next, we got word that the tag title series is next week. Let me get to this main event. If it goes dead on me, I apologize, okay? I really do. We got the Knockouts title main event. We got Havok versus Gail Kim. This was basically kind of domination by Havok here, and with good reason, because Gail Kim's shoulder is hurt. I feel like Gail Kim gets her fair match at Bound for Glory. Havok worked the shoulder the entire match. It was interesting because it seems like Havok went for a shoulder breaker. She did go for a shoulder breaker. She hit the shoulder breaker, and she got the wrong shoulder, which was weird. But the commentators made up for it, saying, she's trying to, basically she's trying to go after both shoulders. She doesn't even care, given that, malicious intent type of thing. Continue to sell the arm the whole match by Gail Kim. Hammerlock slam just looks ridiculous, and Havok wins by a chokeslam. She's your new knockout champion. Guys, I'll see you guys later. I'm actually probably going to elaborate on this last half of the show from maybe the Manic Shark Boy down in separate videos. I promise. I didn't want to rush you guys out of here, but my computer's going dead. My charger's like all the way over there. I'm upset about it, but if I go all the way over there, I come back, it's gonna be dead, and I'm gonna be like, no. But guys, subscribe if you want to. It's up to you. Obviously, up to you. Go subscribe if you want to. Check out my YouTube channel. DJ Beal. You got Havok here. I'll talk about this later. I promise, because I didn't mean to do you guys like this. But I love you guys. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to. If you don't, well, something wrong with you, bro. Something wrong with you, sis. Come on now. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Love you guys. Peace. I got it done.